I'm sure you've heard the news. Dreams get shelved. It's a quiet, universally understood truth, isn't it? We all have that attic in our minds, a dusty corner where we've stored away the things we once deeply longed for. A calling we felt, a business we wanted to start, a relationship we hoped to mend, a creative project that burned within us. We pack them away in boxes, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of fear, and we tell ourselves it's for the best. We call it being realistic. We call it growing up. We tell ourselves that life simply got in the way. But what if that's not the whole story? Scripture calls that a spiritual wound. It sees that shelved dream not as a sign of maturity, but as a source of deep internal pain. It's a perspective that cuts through our justifications and speaks directly to the ache we try so hard to ignore. It suggests that the act of giving up on a God-given desire isn't neutral. It has a cost. It affects our very soul. Let's talk about why. Let's unpack this idea together, not from a place of guilt, but from a place of hope and understanding. Listen, Scripture first. God speaks into our longings. Before we get to our stories, our excuses, our circumstances, we must start with His Word. The Bible is not a collection of ancient rules designed to make you feel bad. It is a living conversation, and God is deeply interested in the desires He has placed within your heart. He is the author of those longings. Proverbs warns that delayed hope eats at the soul. The full verse, Proverbs 13:12, says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." That phrase, heart sick, is so potent. It's not just disappointment, it's a spiritual malady. It's a slow drain of vitality, a creeping cynicism that begins to color everything. It's the reason we can feel numb even when life is, by all accounts, fine. It's a quiet corrosion of the spirit. When we let a God-given hope languish, our heart literally becomes ill. But look at the promise that follows. A longing fulfilled is a tree of life. It's an image of vitality, growth, fruitfulness, and shelter. God's intention for you is not sickness of heart, but the flourishing life of that tree. This is why the Psalms are filled with such raw, honest cries of lament. David, a man after God's own heart, constantly poured out his frustrations about the delay. "How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever?" he cries in Psalm 13. He wasn't suppressing his disappointment. He was bringing it into God's presence. He understood that acknowledging the pain of waiting is a profound act of faith. It says, "God, I still believe you are the one who can fix this, even though I can't see the solution." The Bible doesn't guilt you for doubt. It doesn't shame you for the ache of an unanswered prayer. It makes space for it. It validates it. It warns you about the slow rot of forgetting. The real danger isn't the waiting, it's the forgetting. It's the moment we stop bringing the dream to God, the moment we stop believing it matters, the moment we quietly pack it away and try to move on without it. That's when the sickness of heart truly takes root. Remember Joseph in the pit, a teenager with a technicolor dream from God, a promise of leadership and reconciliation. And what followed? Betrayal by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into a dungeon. Years, then a decade, then longer. The pit and the prison became his reality. It would have been so easy for him to conclude that God had forgotten him, that the dream was a youthful fantasy. But Joseph didn't let his circumstances redefine God's promise. He held on. He interpreted the dreams of others, keeping his own gift alive even when it wasn't serving him directly. He chose faithfulness in the darkness, and in God's perfect time, the pit became the path to the palace. Daniel in exile, ripped from his homeland, his culture, his temple. His entire world was dismantled. His dream was surely to serve God in Jerusalem, among his own people. Instead, he found himself in the heart of the Babylonian Empire, a place hostile to his faith. He could have shelved his devotion, assimilated, and simply survived. But he didn't. He resolved not to defile himself. He continued his practice of praying 3 times a day, windows open toward a Jerusalem he couldn't see. He held on to the dream of faithfulness, and in doing so, God used him to shape the course of empires. His dream wasn't cancelled. It was repurposed for a stage bigger than he could have ever imagined. And think of Nehemiah. He had a comfortable, secure job as the cupbearer to a king. He was safe. But when he heard the news that the walls of his ancestral home, Jerusalem, were still in ruins, his heart broke. That heartbreak was the seed of a new, God-given dream: to go and rebuild. It was an impossible task, fraught with political danger and immense logistical challenges. He could have suppressed that feeling, called it impractical, and stayed in the comfort of the palace. But he allowed the holy discontent to move him to prayer, then to planning, and finally to action. They held on to God-given dreams through hardship. Joseph, Daniel, Nehemiah. Their stories are not just ancient history. They are a testament to the resilience of a hope that is anchored in God, not in circumstances. Their waiting was not passive. It was an active, rugged, faithful perseverance. They show us that the time between the promise and the fulfillment is not wasted time. It is training ground. When we pack away a vision, we trade purpose for comfort. And this is the transaction that happens in our own lives. We face a setback in our career, and we retreat to the safety of the familiar job we don't love. We experience rejection in a relationship, and we build walls to protect ourselves from future hurt, shelving the dream of deep community. We feel the call to serve or create, but the fear of failure or criticism feels too great, so we settle for a life of quiet consumption instead of courageous contribution. And comfort shrinks courage. Comfort is a subtle thief. It doesn't feel like a prison at first. It feels like a sanctuary. But a life dedicated solely to the avoidance of risk and discomfort is a life that will inevitably shrink. Your world gets smaller, your faith gets smaller, your capacity for joy, for adventure, for impact, it all diminishes. Courage is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. And the comfort we choose today becomes the cage we can't escape tomorrow. Your dream isn't just ambition. It's not just a personal goal to be achieved. If it is from God, it is part of His redemptive work in the world and in you. It's a sacred trust. It's the unique way He desires to express His life and love through you. To shelve that dream is to tell God, "Thank you for the gift, but I'm too afraid to use it." It's a divine breadcrumb leading you forward. Each step toward that dream, no matter how small, is a step of faith that honors Him. It's a declaration that you trust the giver of the dream more than you fear the obstacles on the path. So don't let busyness, fear, or small setbacks erase it. These are the three great dream killers. Busyness convinces you that you don't have time. Fear convinces you that you don't have what it takes. And setbacks convince you that it wasn't meant to be. We must learn to see these for what they are. Not stop signs, but tests. They are opportunities to deepen our dependence on God. Guard the spark. Pray. This is the first and most vital practice. Take the dream out of the box and bring it back to God. Daily. Talk to Him about it. Ask for His wisdom, His strength, His timing. Prayer turns a forgotten wish into an active conversation. It keeps the connection to the dream giver alive. It refuels the hope that has grown cold. Write it down. There is power in giving form to the vision. Write it down in as much detail as you can. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who does it serve? This act makes it tangible. It rescues it from the vague fog of someday and gives it substance. It becomes a written testimony you can return to when doubt creeps in, a reminder of what God whispered to your heart in a moment of clarity. Tell a faithful friend. Proverbs also tells us, "In a multitude of counselors there is safety." Find one or two trusted, faith-filled people to share your dream with. Not cynics who will shoot it down, but allies who will pray for you, encourage you, and hold you accountable. Vocalizing the dream gives it life in community and breaks the isolation where fear thrives. Take one brave step today. Don't be paralyzed by the size of the dream. Just take one small, brave step. Send the email, make the phone call, buy the book, sign up for the class, forgive the person, write the first page. One step. Courage is built not in one giant leap, but in a succession of small, faithful steps. Each one says to your soul and to your God, "I'm still in this. I still believe." Keep the dream alive. God may be closer than you think. That longing in your heart is not a mistake. It is not a burden. It is a holy invitation. So today, go to the attic of your heart, find that box, dust it off, open it, and with God's help, begin to live the story He wrote for you. Scripture first, then your story. He is not finished with you yet. His promise is still active. His power is still available. And He is waiting, with you, for the dawn.